And on my very first briefing several months ago, I said I would hold anyone accountable in this room. The Washington Post actually had this headline: the mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Mysterious? Really?
How is this mysterious? There is no mystery about why there is a decrease in fentanyl coming into the United States. This administration's strong border policies are the reason there has been a decrease in fentanyl trafficking. His strengthened relationship with Mexican President Sheinbaum and all of the measures he has been taking to deter illegal human and drug trafficking at our United States southern border is the reason for plummeting fentanyl seizures at the U.S. border.
It seems like any solution that seems to be racist was never attempted by them. Once done, they can't comprehend that the racist thing that they labeled was the solution. So it makes sense why they might see it as mysterious.
Wow.
And some might even say, not a lot of people pass away. I'm like, are you sure? Fentanyl deletes more people than the people in Palestine right now. Just think about it.
We're in hurricane season, and obviously there is great concern every year about the potential for that. Can you speak to how the president is planning to have the level of support, should it be needed, to be as it has been with a reduction in the workforce? And is he still comfortable with Administrator Richardson, who had talked, whether joking or not, about not being aware of a hurricane season for this country? What is the president's level of briefings on what may be required? If you could give us kind of an overall update on that.
Sure. Well, of course, we know that we are into hurricane season now, and I know FEMA is taking this seriously, contrary to some of the reporting we have seen based on jokes that were made and leaks from meetings. But Secretary Kristi Noem and the FEMA leadership are all over this. They are committed to ensuring that federal resources and tax dollars are there for Americans in need. And the president continues to review requests for emergency aid and carefully considering them.
Yeah, I think it's okay. You can't let states make bad decisions and be like, oh my God, help us again. I'm like, no, what did you do with the money?
However, this president has made it clear we're not going to enable states to make bad decisions with federal tax dollars and then have the federal government later have to bail these states out.
I told you. What did I tell you?
We want to see states be responsible with their tax dollars to do as much as they possibly can, and then the president will deeply and thoughtfully consider any requests for federal aid that come to his desk. And I think some of the media reporting we've seen on this is frankly sloppy and irresponsible. There are serious people who are taking this issue seriously, starting with the president himself, who, as you know, on his first domestic trip back in office, visited both North Carolina and California, both of which were, of course, hit by natural disasters when he wasn't even president, but he took ownership of that and visited those places and those people immediately.
Is it
Brian?
about hurricane season appropriate, though, now that this is serious business, as you talked about?
It's serious business, Kelly, and I'm not going to engage in such fodder with a question like that.
I don't mind if you help them, even if the money is not meant for that. But to put them in 5-star hotel, I'm like, brah, don't waste the money. We don't need to bail you. And if you're going to do something with the money, tell us responsibly what you're going to do and we will approve it. But then she's like, are you going to take it certain way? Dilo, remember to subscribe.
There are now reports that Israeli forces are firing on Palestinians trying to get aid from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Up to 20 people, according to the Red Cross, have arrived to the hospital that they've set up with gunshot wounds, have died from them. Is this administration aware of these? And I mean, what is being done to address this situation?
The administration is aware of those reports, and we are currently looking into the veracity of them because, unfortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with total truth. We like to look into it when they speak. Unlike the BBC, who had multiple headlines. They wrote, Israeli tank kills 26, Israeli tank kills 21, Israeli gunfire kills 31, Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident, and then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything. Oh. Okay, so we're going to look into reports before we confirm them from this podium or before we take action, and I suggest that journalists who actually care about truth do the same to reduce the amount of misinformation that's going around the globe on this front. John.
I find it odd that certain people want to feel like this is Me Too. Believe all women. Believe anybody that is the weaker class, the minority. I'm not saying it's not nice and empathetic, but we need to be sure. It's like, I don't even understand how people are like, we need to take the word of Hamas.
You've got U.S. business leaders begging for certainty. So why did the president suddenly decide to hike tariffs on steel and aluminum again?
You also have U.S. business leaders begging to meet with this president and begging to come to the White House to talk to him because they know that he is a negotiator in chief, that he's making good deals on behalf of the American worker and the steel worker, in particular when it comes to the steel and aluminum tariffs, which he discussed in his speech at length at Pennsylvania, and the need for them. And I would just add, I was at that speech on Friday with the president, and there were 2,000 steel workers and their families in the room, many of them wearing their hard hats. I spoke to one backstage who said this is the greatest thing that has happened for that community in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 60 years, because this is a president who doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk too, and he's delivering on his promises to bolster our steel and aluminum industries in this country and to protect those jobs. If not for this president, that steel plant in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania would have closed. Those jobs would have been lost.
Trump reminds me of people. The way Trump handles tariff is the way Trump is dealing with people at the beach if you want to sell tourists a bunch of stuff. You know, the price is super high, but you can buy it super cheap. By your decision, you can try to find the middle ground. And I just think he's just using that to get the attention to find a deal, to prove to them how unfair their tariffs is, and let's negotiate something that we both can agree on without messing each other's economy.
I definitely think, to the congressman's point, there are specific things that are being said on these campuses that are anti-Semitic.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
But the idea that AOC and, I don't know, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar are engaging in those activities, I'm not sure there's a lot of evidence of that.
They spoke at campuses.
You know what I mean?
They were there on those campuses.
Right, but I guess, but here's what I'm saying. But do you understand what I'm saying? If they show up on college campuses to protest, you know, what's the situation in Gaza, are you saying automatically the same thing as uttering anti-Semitic words?
Yes, they're
and doing
anti-Semitic. Make no mistake about it. Their words are absolutely, and this is all based in anti-Semitism.
Right, what I'm saying is, do you have evidence that they actually engaged in anti-Semitic language? That is the issue.
Thank you so much for coming.
You know what I mean about supporting terrorists and some of her past. Are you saying? I mean, do we have to go through the statements?
I am talking about
it's like
on college campuses. You know, because I think that there is a difference.
The history of
protesting
Ilhan Omar is very clear.
There's a history. There's a difference between protesting and and saying and doing anti-Semitic things.
Do you think this will translate to the Jewish students who are facing anti-Semitism here on campus? So I actually met a lot of Jewish students that are in the impact net, and I think it is really unfortunate that people don't care about the fact that all Jewish kids should be kept safe and that we should not have to tolerate anti-Semitism or bigotry for all Jewish students, whether they are pro-genocide or anti-genocide.
Would you not agree?
Ilhan Omar's rhetoric as it pertains to Jewish people in the state of Israel is deplorable and disgusting. She shouldn't even be in Congress, in my opinion. And them showing up on those college campuses is a green light for the most vicious, disgusting, despicable rhetoric against Jewish students and against Jewish people. You can absolutely draw a correlation. And to pretend that they were on the college campuses and saying kumbaya is to just be naive.
You know.
Yeah, that's like me saying I'm eating a piece of chicken. Kumbaya.
The rise of anti-Semitism in the last decade can be correlated with the rise of Donald Trump. And the kind of language that he gives a permission slip for all of this anti-Semitic language to be used, in a way that we really hadn't seen before.
Whether they are pro-genocide or anti-genocide.
I agree with her, because some people on the Democratic side, they went a little cuckoo puffs. Anti-Semitism isn't happening at school, it's just kumbaya. But at the same time, if so many people are using anti-Semitism, it's Donald Trump's fault. Then I'm like, you win always.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush, hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, jam, turloqueta, verdetta, welcome.